As we move out of summer and into autumn, I've been thinking about and getting inspired by the Derwent Graphitint range that I've got. I'm still hoping to get out during the autumn and winter months to sketch, that's weather permitting. So I thought now might be a good time to start familiarising myself with the colours in this range. If you're considering purchasing any of this range, then this video might be of use to you today. I'm going to swatch out all the colours and then see how they combine in a sketch at the end. The Derwent Graphitint range includes the paint pan set, the XL blocks and also the water-soluble pencils. So if you love graphite or you crave subtle colours, then these products might just be right for you. And hopefully the sketch at the end will show you how they all combine together. So this is a paint pan set and it's the box that it comes in. I don't really know why I've still got the box, to be honest, but I thought I'd just show it to you while I have. It comes in a plastic box. I've got a few of these now in their different ranges. When you open it up, you've got some compartments for mixing. There's also this swatch card. It's like a plastic swatch card. And then we've got a little sponge that you can wring out, wash out, put back in, which I desperately need to do. You've got your 12 paints, and then there's a water brush, which comes in 2 halves. So I'm going to swatch the autumn brown first. And we're going to make it a bit darker at the top. And then just do a lighter wash towards the bottom of the sphere. And then we've got the russet. Let's give that a good clean. That's been a little bit contaminated, I think, when I've been mixing. So I'm just gonna, that's better. That's actually more like the colour. And again, we'll just make it a bit dark at the top and then just water it out. Water it down even towards the bottom of the sphere, circle. Just drop a bit more into the top there. And next we've got the meadow. I love the pencil in this. I think it's really lovely. The paint's really nice as well. This seems really lovely. So I did this originally, this swatching session in my book, my Fabriano sketchbook. And unfortunately I managed to hit the wrong button and never actually recorded the painting part of it. So when I came back to look at my, oh, isn't that lovely? When I came back to look at my sketchbook, it was so dirty as well. All the graphite had gone everywhere. I just thought, you know, I'm going to do it again. So I hope this is of use to somebody. I'm going to try and zip through these. And then we've got the green grey. Oops, making a right mess there. They do have a lovely granulating, well, it's not overly granulating, but they're definitely leaning on that way. And I've used them on 3 different papers now. I've used them on the Talon sketchbooks, and they're totally different from if you use them on a heavyweight, more cold pressed type watercolour paper, like the Fabriano sketchbook I've got. And then I've also used them on a really hot press piece of Fabriano, and again that was very different. They look different on each type of paper. Right, so we've got slate green. Oops, make sure I've got the right one, and it's the 4th one along, isn't it? It's this one, which you can't count, 5th one along. Oh, it looks like a little planet. Don't know why it reminds me of a planet. I'm not keeping in the lines today. I think it's because I'm trying to get through this quickly. That's gorgeous. So this piece of paper that I'm painting these on is a Cas Art watercolour pad It's like a jumbo pad of paper, really economical or really cheap. And it's fantastic paper. I've used it so much. I've only got about 5 sheets left now, I think. So I'll definitely be ordering that one again. And finally, the 6th one on this top row is the ocean blue. Again, that's a lovely colour, but I am always drawn to these blues. I'm just going to pop a bit more in this top bit here. Next is the steel blue. It's really nice. It's almost like a Payne's grey. It's one of those that, yeah, it's like a black but with a blue underlying colour. So, and it's really intense. That's really nice. And then we've got dark indigo. Whoops, not that one. Dark indigo. I will try and list all the papers and things that I've used in the description, just in case you're interested. I'd call that my ultramarine. That's what if I'm looking for an ultramarine, I'd just go to that colour. Then we're on to aubergine, which is this one here. Trying to think of other words rather than that's lovely. And juniper. I'm sort of glad that I have got this swatch sheet. It's nice having them loose because you can just have them out in front of you if you're working in your sketchbook. Something that you can look at instantly rather than have to flick through it and find where you've swatched them. Down to our last 2. So we've got port. Oops, didn't get much on my brush there. Oh, that's great. They do shimmer. They do have a definite shimmer to them. And obviously the particles do stay in the paint. They do smudge. I've noticed when I did my sketches, they definitely transfer around the page. So you do have to be careful with your hand going over them because they end up everywhere. And finally, we've got graphite grey. It's a really nice set of colours. And that is all of the 12 Graphitint paint pan pocket set. So, I mean, they're still wet at the minute. That gives you an idea of what they're like. They do have a slight granulating and shimmering effect when you look at them closely. It's because they're a watercolour with graphite and graphite particles that settle into the grain of the paper, so that's what gives it that effect. So if you do want to get a slight granulation or shimmer to them, I think you're better using a cold pressed paper because of the surface and the texture. It's got something for them to settle into. It does lack a more yellow colour. I'm not sure why they can't do that, but yeah, it's you're not going to get bright colours obviously with this range. It's quite muted. So before we move on to the next part, I just want to talk a bit more about this brush. My only gripe with the paint pan set is the fact that I can't fit the brush in with the cap on. I have just had it in there like this, and then I bent the nib. So to get it back, I just ran it under some really hot water and managed to get the point back. But you just can't get it in there. And it's only 1 millimetre or 2 millimetres that they need to make smaller. So I don't know why they didn't do that. I mean, they could have taken a bit off the cap, because it's a lovely brush and it does hold enough to do a sketch. It just needed to be that tiny bit smaller, really. or the box needed to be a tiny bit bigger perhaps. I don't know, but you can, well, you need the cap on it, and then you just have to unscrew it every time and then put the little stopper back in. Which if you're out in a field, and I mean around here we get terrible weather, so that cap is going to go missing sooner or later. It will blow away or roll into something. So that's my only gripe with this set. It's really lovely to use. They do combine well as well. When I did my sketch the other day, you could make some nice colours up with them, but I'm looking forward to having a really good play with them and getting as much as I can out of them. So we're going to move on to the XL blocks next. So these are my XL graphite blocks. They're the original ones that came out. I've had them a long time, and they've actually updated this set with 2 new graphitint blocks. You can buy them open stock. Even if you get this tin for some reason, you can always buy the other 2. The other 2 that are in the set are the Port and the Aubergine, whereas my set has the soft and the very soft. So it's like a grey and a slightly darker, softer grey. In the set you've got these lovely blocks. They're so tactile and they just make you want to pick them up and do really nice big drawings. They're great because not only can you just draw with them, but you could use them as a big pan of paint, and that means that you can cover large areas. You can use them to make splatters on your paint, on your drawing or your painting. So you just wet your brush obviously, and then you can splatter, which gives you lovely effects. And then if you do apply them as a dry medium to your drawing, then you can just wet them and get, again, nice controlled effects perhaps. So in this set, you've got the green, which is the olive green, the blue, which is the Prussian blue, and then you've got raw umber, burnt umber, soft and very soft. I absolutely love them. I think they're just such a nice tactile thing to work with. If you're working large, I think they're brilliant. So at the moment, I believe that the tin retails for about £35, and if you want to buy them individually, they're about £7 for each block. But they really are worth the money because, I mean, that's all solid pigment in there. If you compare it to a little watercolour pan, you're getting a hell of a lot there for the same price, and it probably is a very similar thing really. Anyway, what we're going to do now is swatch these out and see how they react. Oh, one last thing before I go, before I start swatching them out. On the top you've got the XL, the Derwent, it says on the side, the XL, and then you've got the Graphitint logo, and it says the actual colour underneath. You're not going to make that out, but it says the colour, and then you might with the green, if I just hold that up. So this one says olive green 01. What I do is turn them the other way and use them on the side or on the back, because if you do need that name or the number for any reason, then you're going to wear it away if you start using this side of it, especially wet. So I always use them on the side or on the back. Just a little tip, because especially with the little blocks, when you get things like ink tents, so with the smaller blocks, it doesn't take long for it to wear away. So that's what I do anyway. Just a little tip, it's probably common sense really. Yeah, it's a really nice tin, and I'm absolutely obsessed with these blocks. I don't use them enough. I should use them a lot more. I've actually got the charcoals and I've got the Inktense. I've got the big Inktense set as well. So we'll have a look at that another time. So I'll get swatching. Right, let's see what these bad boys are like. So we've got the 6 to swatch out. So we'll start with the olive green. I've left some big areas, so we'll put some down and then we'll just water them, wet them, and we'll see what we've got. You do get a lot of dust with them. It's just like having a big pastel block. That's really lovely. It's a really good green, that. And the Prussian blue. Gorgeous. Love that. So good. That's really nice. And we've got the raw umber. It's a great brown, lovely brown. And then the burnt umber. Oh, that's really nice when you see it on its own. I've used it on top of things, but I haven't really seen it on its own. This one is looking quite mauvey. Definitely more mauvey than a burnt umber in my book. And finally we've got the soft. Just put that down there. So we've got the soft. A really nice grey. And finally, the very soft. And that leans more, I think, to the black. Yeah, that does look a lot more black. And as I've said earlier, with the blocks, they've actually got a different set. This is one of the first sets that came out. So my tin actually says graphite on it. And I believe the new tin does have graphitint on it, and you get the port and the aubergine instead of the soft and the very soft. They really go together well. They would look lovely on a big piece of art. And that's the XL blocks. This is my Derwent Graphitint pencil set. I took them out of the tin when I first got them and put them into a Derwent roll. Not sponsored by Derwent. I just seem to have a lot of Derwent products. Anyway, so I put them into this roll, and obviously a roll rolls up. So it makes it really convenient just for taking out with me. It's the full set here. So there's 24 in the full set. You don't have to buy the full set. They come in sets of 12, and you can also buy them in there's like a plastic bubble pack of 6. You can also buy them individually, so that's great. They sort of retail for about £40 to £50. The muted colours, as like the rest of the ranges. I've lived in Lancashire and Yorkshire for the last 20 years, so a lot of these muted colours are really good for the landscapes around here. When you get into the darker months, autumn, winter, they really suit that time of year. So the pencils are water soluble. They are the usual Derwent barrel that they have at the moment, quite a thick barrel, really comfortable to use. The only thing I would say with them, I mean, I've had these, I think like I just said, for about 10 years, is I do find the ends a little bit confusing to the colour on the other end. So particularly with, I'm just going to show you, just take this grey out for example, put it against this background, probably better with my hand, but this is called juniper. So the pencil, the lead end here that I put in the sharpener, you can see it's like a real purple juniper colour. Then you look at the end, it's like silver, like a grey. So they bear no resemblance to the end of the pencil. It's going to be a really useful exercise for me to swatch them all out. It can be really confusing. I'm just going to have a look to see if there's any others. I feel really bad because I'm pointing out all the bad things, and they're just a lovely product to use, so don't be put off by that. Wow, let's have a look. Yeah, again, it's mainly with the greys, I think. This one is like a green grey. It says cool grey, but it looks really blue on that end and a really light grey on this end. So what I'm going to do is swatch each pencil out and then we'll have a look at the dry colour and the wet colour. I'm just going to tell you a bit more information about them before we start. So I just said that I was drawn to them because they're muted colours and that they're water soluble, and I like the weight, the balance of them. I will say that Derwent have their own light fast scale, and 19 apparently out of 24 of these are rated 6 and above in the Derwent light fast scale. 6 and above is very light fast, so that's really good news. 0 is extremely poor, 8 is really light fast. So they're very good range if you want to use a light fast product. You're going to be selling it, for example. The rating for the pencil, however, is only for when it is dry. So straight away you add water to it, it becomes less light fast, and the more water that you add, then the less light fast it becomes. So you've got to bear that in mind. Yeah, let's get swatching these out. So moving on, I don't know whether I'm going to speed this up or do it real time, because some people might find this really boring and it could make for a very long video. Anyway, I'm going to start getting these swatched out and we'll see how we do. So this is the port, that's number 1. The paper that I'm doing this on is the same as the swatches that I did with the paint pan set. So there's a little bit of texture on the paper. It's a Cassart jumbo pad, and I'm going to try and put the link in the description. I've used it loads over the years. It's been such a useful paper to have when you don't want to use something that's really expensive, but you want something that can take watercolours and acrylics and anything. Then this is definitely a good paper to have. We will wet that. I'll keep the top of it the same, the dry colour, and then we can see the difference. Lovely. Next we've got, I find this one, the juniper. Yeah, this is the one where the top of it on the barrel, the colour swatch on the barrel, it looks a lot different from the actual lead. So I'll get that swatched out. And we're going to add some water. There's quite a lot of water on that. It's like a grape. Well, it is juniper coloured. And now the aubergine. Or as some people might say, eggplant, perhaps. Adding too much water. I nearly did the top then. It looks quite similar to the juniper. Well, it's definitely, yeah, there's some more blue in it, very similar. Be great for heather. And the next one is the dark indigo. And then we've got the shadow. These pencils are very soft. I like to use the sharpeners that give the really long points on the leads. I think it's from having done loads of detailed drawings. They do break quite easily when you do that, but they're really lovely and soft to sketch with, and it helps you loosen up, I think, when they're like that. It's helping me anyway. It's lovely, that shadow. I really do like that colour. And we've got, where are we? We've done shadow. So we're on still blue, number 6. You can of course use these, dip them in. I've just got a water droplet there. And you could draw with them wet like that, which is really nice. Right, moving on to the ocean blue. Where is it? We're on still ocean, there we are. If I wasn't filming this, I'd be spending hours, well, not hours, but I'd be doing it a lot more carefully. It's funny when you've got the camera on, it changes it completely. And it's something I need to get used to. It's just, oh, that's gorgeous. Right, what are we on now? Slate green. So I've done a lot of oil paintings as well over the last few years, and although I've really done mainly wildlife, I have done a little bit of landscapes. Anytime that I've done painting that involves greens, the thinking is mixing your own greens is the way to go. So I've never really had much experience with green colours because I've just mixed my own. So it's really nice for a change to use products that actually have different greens. Right, what are we on? Green, grey, I think green, grey, there we are, green, grey. These pencils are definitely worth the money. They're really nice and really convenient to take out with you if you want to sketch outside. It's a good way to progress as well. If you've just started out with graphite, then it's just adding subtle colour rather than colour that hits you in the face. And if you're a nature artist, someone who leans more to doing nature things like wildlife and landscapes, then these would be ideal. So this is the meadow. That's lovely, that green grey. I don't think they would be very good for portraiture though. When you're drawing faces, you do need those clear mixes. I mean, you do need to be able to mix a skin colour, so you do need a yellow and a blue and a red. I think you're going to get someone who looks a little bit ill with these colours, although I haven't tried, but they don't lean towards portraiture in my opinion. Correct me if I'm wrong. Look how vibrant that is. It's amazing. That really is like your yellow of the set. And then we go to ivy. That's quite a blunt lead there. And then sage. The great thing with having a coloured pencil, like a watercolour pencil, is you can just put some lines down, and then if you're in a rush and you only want to sketch for 5 minutes or 15 minutes, you can just get the outlines down and pick the colours that you think are the colours that you want. And then when you get home, then you can turn them into a painting and then draw back into them if you want. And now we're going to go to chestnut, which is this one here. Push those in there. I think this is the one that goes really pinky red when you wet it. Yeah, oh wow. Maybe not pinky red. Oh, I don't know. It's lovely. It is chestnut, isn't it? It's just like a chestnut. We're obviously moving into the redder colours, so we've got russet next. I wonder how you'd get on drawing still lifes with these. I suppose it depends on what you're going to draw in your still life. If it was something with bright colours, I guess, then they're not going to work, are they? I think moths and butterflies, they would be really nice if you did some, or maybe not the butterflies, but all moths. They would look great using these, I think, because of the colours. So we're on to the cool brown. I must have used this one quite a bit, it's fairly short. I've had these, like I said earlier, for a long time, about 10 years. I got rid of the box pretty sharpish, and I wish I'd kept the tin, because I've seen people use them for different things. I wish I had kept it. I saw one YouTuber and she sprayed hers with like an enamel spray and then put all her watercolours in, and it was amazing. She did such a good job, and it made me feel really, well, I felt miffed that I had got rid of mine. So where are we? We're on Cocoa next. I'm just thinking about other things that would look really nice in this set. So we've said landscapes, moths and wildlife. Yeah, birds definitely would look good with these. It's a little bit like the chestnut, this one. Okay, autumn brown, which is very red. I'm going to move that up here. These all look like little marbles. When I was a kid, the marbles they used to have with the bit that swirled in the middle. That's the one that was red. Well, I should have known really, because that does actually look like the end of the pencil. Oh, that is autumn. The leaves on the trees just starting to change here, so that should be useful. And now we're on Storm. I always wonder who comes up with these names. Do they sit round and have a meeting, or is it someone's job to name all these products? I think the names are quite accurate though. The aubergine is definitely aubergine. The port, yeah, port. They do actually look like they're supposed to. So what does Storm look like? They always look darker on the leads than they do on the ends, but we'll have a look. It does look like a stormy day. It'd make a great mist, that colour. If you needed to draw mist. And we're on our final row. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the white. I should actually put some black down. I think I've got a Sharpie here. Right, where were we? So we're now on warm grey. So we've got warm grey. Just check that that's on the screen. And now we're on to the midnight black. That definitely needs sharpening. It's a lovely soft black. the mountain grey. I really am scribbling these down. There's quite a few greys in this set, really. I wonder why they couldn't do a lemon, well, a really light yellow. Right, next is the cloud grey. I know it's graphite, so that's going to obviously hinder it being a nice clean yellow, but if they just had it as near to lemon yellow as possible, that would be quite useful. Right, last two. We better just have a look at this one. Yeah, because you've got, that storm has got like a mauve in it. But these four, I mean that is black, but they're very similar. Right, so cool grey. When I've been out with these, I've never known which grey to go for. That's thrown me as well. And the browns as well. Yeah, I'm always thinking about which brown to go for. You can see that this one is going to be a lot more blue. It's almost like a lighter version of the steel blue. They're all lovely. The white, finally. Yeah, definitely works well over black, so that's good. Obviously you're not going to see it on the white paper. It does go quite opaque. Interesting. Well, I've been meaning to do that for ages. So I hope that was of use to you. I'm not going to wave it around too much. You might be able to pick up the shimmer. Which one's your favourite? And what do you think about all the greys? This is getting a bit embarrassing now, but I'm just going to sharpen this pencil with my Derwent sharpener. This is the, I think it's the Super Point, but it's the one I've used the most over the last 10 years. Absolutely love it. I was a colour pencil artist for a lot of those years, and I like the long, thin leads that you get, the really, really sharp leads. So this is great for that. Anyway, it's quite a soft pencil. I don't care about the claw marks you get on the pencil. But that's the type of lead that you get, or the point I should say that you get. I know that there was a lot to take in with so many products. There is so many more things that you can do with these. I'll probably do another video which goes into more detail about the many uses and effects that you can achieve with this range. So if you're interested, drop a comment below and let me know. So with everything swatched, I'm going to use all three products in this Royal Talon sketchbook. On a side note, you see that this is brand new. I'm calling it my no judgment fun sketchbook. There's no theme to it, no rules, anything goes. The reference photo for the sketch was taken from a walk the other night and was the first thing on my camera roll. So I'll shut up for now and let you sit back and hope that you enjoy this time lapse. thought I'd just show you how the graphitint reacts on different papers. This one here is the Fabriano Artistico hot pressed watercolour paper. It's the heaviest weight they do. I think off the top of my head that's something like 640 pounds. Anyway, that just soaked it up. It was lovely to use that on, but it was totally different from using it in the sketchbook, which I did the same sketch in there really quickly, and it looks really well on this paper. It's got a grain to it, so you get a totally different effect from doing it in the Talons sketchbook. It's a lot flatter, the colours are a lot flatter, because obviously the graphite doesn't sink into the paper. So there is quite a notable difference between them, just that you're aware. I just thought I'd show you as well how they erase. So I've got 4 different types of eraser. I've got electric one, there's this black one here, and a little white one. And there's also this mono zero. So I'm just going to have a go with the mono zero. If I do it on, we'll say this meadow, once it's been wetted, you can still get some colour up. I'm just going to try. So that creates a really interesting effect as well. You could take out areas. And that's just using a little white plastic. It works really well. And this is a soft art eraser, which is black. Gentle and effective, it says. That's nice as well. Yeah, so they do erase well. So don't know if that helps you out, is of interest to you. The other thing as well, I'm just going to show you with these. I'll take that away so it's not so confusing. I'll just show you as well, you can, with the big XL blocks, smudge them. So they do act a lot like pastel, which is nice, gives you more opportunities to do different things with them. And again, just trying to erase some of these. So they do erase. Just to give you an idea. And I'll just have a quick look at the actual watercolours. And we'll have a go with this mono. Oh yeah, you can as well with those. Just try. Works really well. This really the smallest, cheapest little Derwent rubber. Yeah, so even the watercolours erase. So hopefully that was of some use to you. Well, in conclusion, I would say that the pencils definitely match the paint pan sets. If we look at for example, the steel blue I'd say is very, very close. That's a steel blue in the pencil, and that's the paint pan. And also, for example, the meadow, I think mine is slightly contaminated, but yeah, they're very similar. And the autumn brown, again, very similar. The port. So they do have very similar colours, the paint pan set and the pencils. If you are only going to get one thing out of this range, I would be tempted to just go for the pencils. They're more expensive than the paint pan set, but you can do quite a bit with those. However, saying that, I'm not quite sure why they did so many greys. Anyway, I would do that, but these are just lovely and really good and a lot of fun if you just want to have some fun with your art materials. The big blocks, they go together really well. They really suit each other, I think, those colours. They do act like pastels, and I'd say the whole range, just be aware that it does transfer. I originally did this swatching session in my sketchbook, but as I said earlier, it's got really messy. It was more because of the blocks more than anything. I think if I'd just done those, I wouldn't have such a problem. Yeah, they're just a really nice range and a bit different, and a great step up if you've just used graphite and you just wanted to have something else that's like a fairly muted, not really bright and a limited range, then this could be the thing for you. If you enjoyed this video, then you might be interested in my graphite review video. I did it about the 14B and also the Jumbo 9000 Faber-Castell pencils, and I'm going to link them up here. So go and check that out, see what you think to that video. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate a thumbs up and a subscribe. It really helps me out. I'd love to know what you think about this, and yeah, see you soon. Bye.